Twice a week, 2 hours per day was one of them.
That she could go and visit with Matt.
Correct.
Okay.
Twice a week, 2 hours a day. Damn, this guy's letting some other random dude that he's never met pound his woman for 2 hours straight. Honestly, this whole thing is it's one of the most stupidest things ever. But you know what though? I got something to say in a second.
Okay. Was one of the rules of the contract to use protection?
Absolutely.
And
Get the out of here.
what happened?
What happened? So I apologized to Rob to his face. I said, if there was any disrespect, I'm sorry.
He did.
You say if there was disrespect, do you think there was disrespect?
Oh, well, I didn't know what it was. And I'll be clear. I tested the waters a little bit because
My apologies. We are literally on to the next segment regarding Sophie and Josh. But let's go back to the Jasmine situation. The fact that Gino felt the need, the fact that he thought he would have control over allowing someone else to sleep with his woman is actually nuts. If he actually truly believed that Jasmine only saw this guy based on the rules, the contract that they set out, he's dumber than we think. Even dumber than we think. Listen, if she was meant to sleep with him with protection and then end up not doing that, you really think that she only saw him 2 times a week for 2 hours? Pfft, man, she was seeing this guy 7 days a week for as long as she liked. You know, every time she was going to the gym, you know where she was going for her cool down, right? Or you know where she was going for a warm up. Because remember, Gino was not driving her to the gym, nor was he picking her up. Someone else was doing that. But nonetheless, though, let's get into this Josh situation here where he talks to Sophie. He's now saying that he did look to, you know, he dropped into her DMs. You know, at the time, he knew the situation with Rob and Sophie wasn't exactly, you know, healthy. And also because he was single, he did test the waters. So you're telling me that Rob is still friends with this guy? Oh, no, sorry, became friends with a dude that is fully admitted to testing the waters with your woman that you was trying to literally reconcile a relationship with. Remember what I said before? Rob is more than happy to give a certain level of energy to the women. But when it comes to the men, he don't give none of that energy.
I was single. I'm not saying I'm completely innocent.
But you said to Natalie, I did not invite her to Vegas.
Well, I was trying to calm Natalie down outside, yeah.
So one, he admits that he really was trying to move on to Sophie. And 2, also admits that he lied to Natalie about the situation. Because he just wanted to calm her down. You know, when somebody has been saying a whole lot of mumbo jumbo and now all the truth is coming out. And the maddest thing about it is that he's admitting the truth now, but most of the time he's always accusing Natalie of being a liar. Now, I'm not saying Natalie ain't a liar. I'm just saying that Josh clearly has been lying himself. But Josh, no, but Rob will happily still be his friend. Will not call him out. Won't even challenge him and say, hey, why would you try and move to my wife? Just because you knew that maybe he was on uneven path. Like, why would you do that? But Rob said nothing. Became friends with the guy. Best friends with the guy.
I unblocked him because of what you were posting about us online, that we were having sex. So I hit him up. I'm like, hey, like, you need to stop her from telling everyone we slept together. And I went, no.
Natalie, that's nuts.
It's crazy though. Sophie literally had a whole rant there about the fact that she had to unblock Josh to tell him to tell you to stop saying that them two slept together because they didn't. And then Natalie still sat there and said, so did you have sex with him or not?
I mean, that's crazy, bro.
That means going me
Not attack me telling truth, Natalie. And it's a lie. I never say about Sophie. You come to me and say, Sophie have plastic ass. Sophie have fake
I never
breasts.
said it.
Huh?
I'm so confused why Julia started speaking. Really confused. Not only did she start speaking, why is she shouting? Why is she getting all hot and bothered about a situation that has nothing to do with her? But then again, at the same time, though, I mean, listen, she could have just, like, you don't have to instigate. You can just be quiet. Let Natalie and Sophie and Josh have their conversation. Let them, you know, get their closure. You don't need to get involved. But the fact is, though, the thing that I don't like about Julie is that Julie acts as if she's a saint. She ain't no saint. You know what I mean? She literally lied about cheating on her husband. Okay? And then also on top of that, she always plays the victim in their relationship and always tries to, you know, get him to forgive her for things that he hasn't even had a chance to even process. Julia is a piece of work. You know what's so mad though? It's so crazy because you do hear about some women in some parts of the world just don't like other women, you know. And honestly, to see two women from Europe and pretty much from the same within the Ukraine and the Russian kind of thing and be as such war, and you know what's crazy, because I know the countries are, but these two had this beef before that even happened, right? You would think that these two would try and, you know, would try and be on each other's side, you know what I mean? Considering they both speak the same language, you know what I mean? Both outsiders, but it's always a war. It's always a war. Why can't they just be an alliance together, you know? Them versus everybody else. Anyway, whatever.
I never came to you. It was not true. But in my conflict with her, and you smile now, and you being really mean.
Oh my gosh, you
okay,
just not.
and my point. Can I speak?
To be honest with you, I don't know why Natalie would go to Julia when Natalie and Julia have never got along. It doesn't make any sense to me, to be honest with you. But, you know, Natalie does confront Julia after on and asks her, why are you saying these things? And then she pulls Brandon into the conversation so Brandon can, you know, obviously be on her side. So therefore ends up becoming a tag team, a double team, an ambush, you know, which was not needed at all. But to be honest with you, their beef, their little quarrel here is actually irrelevant as F. But anyway, we continue.
Yeah, but Natalie, for what? But we're not talking about the issue, which is their relationship.
Okay, what
does it matter? I got her point across. Now we've all forgotten what the issue was, and now we're talking about something that's irrelevant.
Speak on it. Speak on it. Keep cooking. Exactly that. The conversation is swayed to what it's not meant to be. Let's focus on the topics that are meant to be.
That's the first point. And then the other thing is, you know, I also feel like if you look at all the guys, these guys, some of them have done really bad stuff.
And these men ain't being called out. I do feel like this season the men have been protected, especially at the tell-all. None of them have been given the same energy that the women are getting. Apart from one situation that then does happen, but then at the same time, the way it was handled, I'll still say the guys have been protected. And we'll get there. We'll get there.
You did this, I mean, you called me this and you did that. Why can't
I mean, she
we
threw a
get
drink
along?
at me.
But wait, okay,
That's
so
why
you're
I'm
saying
so
that's wrong.
angry.
No, I know, but I'm making a higher point.
I love the way Ari is like, yeah, but I'm trying to make a higher point here. The point that Mari was trying to get to, which she still didn't get to, oddly enough, was purely like, hey, are you paying attention to how the men are getting away with all this behavior and us women out here pretty much coming after each other? Like, what the F is going on here? She ain't saying it should be men versus women, but she's just saying that, hey, let's look at the situation at hand.
You've seen all the drama play out with Josh and Natalie.
Mm-hmm.
What were you thinking while watching all of that go down?
Like, clearly the guy is not into you. Like,
I gotta say though, Jen was given like somewhat of like a mean girl energy. I don't know if that's the right term to use there, but Natalie said nothing but positive things to her. Nothing but positive things. Said, listen, I hope he's gonna treat you right. You know, he's gonna not treat you the same way you treated me. And all of her responses were literally like, I don't give a F about you. I'm gonna tell you that, guess what? This man never wanted you. I want you to be jealous that he just wants me. That's the vibe I be getting. Let's get into it.
hello. I think is that he saw something one way, she saw it a totally different way. And if you want to say that's gaslighting, sure, great. Josh thought
The way she actually defends Josh's like alleged gaslighting is wild.
of it as a totally different relationship than what Natalie thought. She was looking for something that Josh couldn't give her. And
Emily.
You think Natalie deserved better?
I think Natalie deserves what Natalie deserves.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I do heavily agree with that answer though. There was no lies in that answer, but to be fair, we all deserve what we deserve, isn't it, really and truly? But I feel like that one was a bit more of a subliminal.
Wish you the best.
Thank you.
Even when Natalie's like, wish you the best, she's like, yeah, thank you. Jen really thinks that she's up there, you know what I mean? Really think that she's better than the rest. She's always had that attitude, hasn't she? I can see it hasn't changed. I mean, to be honest with you, if their relationship is legit, it looks like Josh may have met his match. Because, boy, well, I would like to think that Jen isn't going to, you know, tolerate any of the treatment that Josh gave to Natalie. But at the same time, though, men sometimes do treat a woman based on how a woman presents herself. Natalie presented herself in a way where she was easy. She was sending this guy's nudes and trying to basically incite him, all that kind of stuff. So she got treated based on the way she approached the man himself in particular. And that's just that. If you're gonna approach a man in a way that is just hella thirsty, depending on what type of man he is, he's just gonna use the hell out of you until he's done with you. You know what I'm saying? Because at that moment in time, he's probably looking at you thinking, I don't really have respect for you. The fact that you're begging me and like you're sending me pictures of you all the time and whatnot to get my attention, like, and we're not even in a relationship, you know, we haven't even got a title in general, we're not even exclusive, and you're just always trying to get my attention with these sexual advances. For a man, some men be sitting there, they'd be thinking, I wonder how many men you've been doing this for. Like before me, do you see what I'm saying? Maybe this is why you're still single at the age of 40. Like, is it, do you know what I mean? So therefore, the respect levels, done. And their intentions is clear after that. The intentions, I'm just going to keep you around just to keep enjoying myself. Nothing else but that. This, which explains why Josh was also out there, you know, enjoying himself with other women as well. Yeah. I ain't saying this behavior is right. I'm just letting you know how some men can be dependent on the man. A man that can get women, that's how he's going to think, to be honest with you. And a man that's confident in himself, that's how he's going to think for the most part. A man that isn't confident, he ain't going to care. He will happily, you know, literally be with you because of that. And then those are the men that you then would then deem as lacking masculinity. Those are the men that you then deem as too nice. Woo.
I'm just done.
Jen,
I know how Rob would take therapy because sometimes he doesn't like to be told he's wrong, but I think y'all both did good in the therapy. I feel like from watching The Resort, I saw a lot of growth on both sides. To forgive and forget. Like I told her, if you want to be with Rob, wipe your memory clean. Whatever he did to you years ago, you can't bring that up 10 years down the line.
I just want to clarify that she makes very good points here. One, that Rob can't, she's worried that the fact that Rob can't take accountability, that Rob doesn't want to hear certain things about himself, but then also on top of that, also addresses the main thing regarding Sophie. Sophie has an issue with clinging on to the past. Very good points. Now, out of these points that she's made, Rob then literally within seconds proves her right.
Miserable together.
And it definitely would be that with a friend like you telling her that that's what it would
That's
be.
not how I am. I'm over the whole villain era. I'm not a bitch.
The fact that she came in there cordial, came in there with the right energy, and Rob still wanted to bite, how this whole situation turns out and end is all because of Rob. Because she did not come in on an attack. So she came in with just the intentions of bringing peace and just trying to be there for a friend in the best way possible. She's obviously learned from the way she has behaved in the past and decided to come in with a better approach. She didn't come in guns blazing, none of that. And then what did Rob do? Bit to her for no reason. No reason why, but this man loves and enjoys picking on women. Tell me, no respect.
If she is going into a war, I'm going to prepare and go in there with her. Like, it's not like
You and that energy, going into war, this was me and my wife working on our marriage. So you don't.
Although I do respect and I do understand, and for the most part I do, and usually I would 1000% agree with what Rob has said here, but it's the response that made me think I understand now.
Need.
people haven't really seen the true form of Rob and how bad it can really get. Stop acting like you were just so innocent.
I'm pretty sure people have seen me yell. People have seen me lose my cool. Because two people can get upset. If both people are mad at each other and both people are yelling at each other, one person isn't just automatically wrong because the other one's your friend.
So here's the thing. Kai is literally out there saying that I've seen you two argue in my house. You brought your argument to my house. I could hear it. And at the end of the day, she heard shouting and whatnot. She didn't like it. And also, just like the rest of us, we've seen videos of how Rob has spoken to Sophie whenever he's been absolutely outraged by her. And the way he has gone about it has not been good at all, to the slightest. End of the day, it depends on who you are as a person. For me as a person, I hold myself at a certain level of respect as a man to make sure that it doesn't matter who it is, whether it's man or woman or child or whatever. I would never ever allow someone to allow me to scoop to the level. If someone wants to come at me with some heavy type of energy, they want to shout or they want to go physical, whatever. Listen, I ain't giving you that vibe back because I'm better than that. I ain't got time for that. If you want to play games, do what you gotta do. I don't mind. It's up to you. As long as you can sleep with yourself at night, good for you. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to go to bed knowing that I hold my own. Do you know what I mean? To my own standards, my own morals, right? So the matter of fact is, though, Rob is out here trying to say, yeah, but the thing is, though, if she says something and I didn't like it, I have every right to defend myself, which is correct. But how you go about it is what matters the most. Now, if you have decided to marry this woman, you make sure that each and every time that you have a dispute, you can address yourself correctly. But also at the same time, she also needs to be able to address it correctly. I mean, for me personally, I wouldn't marry someone that's going to shout at me whenever they're upset with me. Are you mad? No. If I'm never going to shout at you, you're never going to shout at me. Do you see what I'm saying? We're always going to have a conversation, obviously peaceful. Don't get me wrong. If you get upset with me, fair enough. You can express it with a certain level of emotion that isn't, you know, too crazy to the point that it's like you're now going on an unhealthy attack. You just see what I'm saying? Because respect has to be kept throughout any relationship, friendship, relationship, marriage. You hear what I'm saying? But obviously we got two people, and but the thing is though, I've rarely ever heard Sophie really shout. To be honest with you, it's always been Rob the one that's always been the more projected one. I've only ever seen Sophie cry all the time because, you know, that's what she does. So the reality is that Rob can't sit there and say that Sophie's friend was wrong for butting in when he was elevating his voice and he was getting too loud and getting disrespectful to his wife. Because at the end of the day, she doesn't know if her friend can defend herself. If the situation was to escalate, do you see what I'm saying? But Rob is naive as hell. He sees things only his way. And like I said before, he literally proved Kai right at the very beginning. She said that this man struggles to hear the truth. Boom, bam, look at him, talking the most gibberish I've ever heard in my life. He needs to learn to respect himself first. When he can learn to respect himself first and love himself, that's when he'll be able to respect women as well. This man clearly has very low self-esteem, definitely doesn't respect himself, or he has too much of a high self-esteem that he thinks is better than women, and he can speak to them however he wants to speak to them purely because he knows he can go and get another woman anytime soon. Regardless of the mentality behind him, it's not a good one. It's a bad one. It's a terrible one. It's a disgusting one.
The reason I have issues with Rob is the way he speaks to Sophie. The way he sometimes would speak to her, I was just like, if that was me, I'd be losing my freaking mind right now. I'd be like attacking my boyfriend probably because it's just like, I'm a woman, like you are.
Which is why Kai is not my type of woman. You know what I'm saying? Attacking your boyfriend, you are crazy. But to be fair though, she did speak about how the fact that she's always been in therapy, to be fair, which is quite interesting because I feel like it identifies her behavior, to be fair, even more, explains it even more. But either way though, at least she's been honest that if you were speaking to me the way you're speaking to me, the way you're speaking to my friend, the conversation would be a whole lot different. To be fair, then that would mean that them two are more likely to be prone to end up having a domestic violent relationship, which would not be good, which tells me that Kai may have actually been in one before. You never know. But yeah, either way, I like her honesty, but I hope that's not how she conducts herself moving forward in her relationships.
Are going to talk to me and treat me a certain way. I have actual video evidence of the way you acted and why I let her move in with me.
We've seen video evidence. But I'm assuming that she's got other video evidence that none of us have seen.
You're the judge. If you want to come support Sophie, that's great. Support Sophie. You don't need to come up here and talk about Rob. They went to a resort. To try and fix.
Why is he talking? I'm baffled. You're hearing about. Listen, she's telling you that this guy is not respectful at all. The matter of fact is, can somebody please tell me one insult that she has said about Rob? This is the maddest thing. You know how much Josh is now a hypocrite? He's the same as Rob. When Josh was having a conversation or a conflict with Jasmine, he was calling Jasmine names. Name after name after name. He did not once sit there and say to Rob, no. You need to not speak to Jasmine that way, okay? She's a pregnant woman, okay? And yeah, I know she's a freaking dick, but there's no need for you to scoop to that level to call her names. I didn't even hear him say that once. Kai has not called this guy any insults. All she has done is sat there and called him out on his BS. That's it. No insults whatsoever. Let's make it abundantly clear. But Josh is out here defending him like that. It's crazy because sometimes I get people in the comments saying, why are you always defending women for? Oh, because there's a certain level of how men should conduct themselves. If I see a man behaving the way he's not behaving, that is not acceptable. If I see someone being a hypocrite, man or woman, I'm going to call it out. Devil's advocate. That's it. Whether you like it or not, that is entirely up to you. But this shit right here is not cool. You was not giving this same energy to Rob when he was calling Jasmine names. I don't give a damn if we don't like... I don't give a damn that we don't like Jasmine. You know what I mean? That Jasmine is been this person, blah, 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 blah. The matter of fact is, you got to keep the same energy of everyone. The same thing that Ari's been trying to point out throughout these 4-part freaking tales. And we still got one more part left. But either way, though, where was this energy? Where?
Their marriage, and you're the problem.
Josh, you better shut the up.
We're gonna talk about why I really left you. Getting paid to...
Sophie, what the?
You want to talk?
Bear this in mind, this is now Sophie saying this. It wasn't Kai?
about this. Should we talk about you paid $500 to have screenshots? Would like to see some screenshots?
Definitely look. I mean, I would. I mean, if the screenshots have news in them, I don't want to see them. But if the screenshots are just words or proof, I want to see it. You know what I'm saying? Now I do know that Sophie did make a post, but I haven't actually read it yet because I didn't watch the show yet. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'll read it after and then make a video about it.
Screenshot some random gay dude hitting me up.
I like your outfit.
Please off and never ever come around me
This is
again.
the last time I have to see you.
So Kai gets up, leaves. Sophie's the one that just threw him under the bus with that whole stuff. But he's telling Kai to F off and I want to see you again. Hold a minute, Josh. So where's the energy right now? Why are you not saying to him that, hold on, bro, you don't need to do that? Why are you not giving the energy? The men are fully protected on this tower. It's crazy. Literally, where is the accountability here? You know, where like, I don't like no one on this flipping panel, right? Or in this cast at all, but it is ridiculous to see that the women are being laid into more than the men are. And to make it worse, the women aren't only being laid into more, but the women are also being laid in by other women as well as some of the men. If you're not seeing that, then it is what it is. But anyway, there was no need for Rob to say what he said to Kai here. Why, you know, you F off, blah, 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 blah. Why? Does this make you feel like a big man? Do you not like why? Where is this benefit?
I'm thankful.
Thank you,
Goodbye.
Jesus.
Right.
It's interesting because she said we've been protecting him. I want to know what they've been. What's his protection? We've been protecting him. Has Sophie said that? Please just don't tell people about these said things. But Sophie, whenever she gets upset, she always talks about how Rob has done these things and that she's gonna provide evidence, but she never ends up doing it. She always ends up backtracking. Maybe there are things out there that she's keeping hold of, but doesn't want to for whatever reasons. I mean, people do say that when you're in these type of relationships that involve some form of abuse, it's unlikely that the person who's been abused is gonna really disclose everything. They're always gonna have that moment of like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do it, blah 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 blah.
Random dude did hit me up asking me to do, which I was, and she picked up the phone. Random
I think they were just looking for things.
That's just some random had my number and hit me up on.
First and foremost, Josh does not look like he believes Rob one bit, to be honest with you. First and foremost. Secondly, how does this random dude, gay man, have your number? I didn't realize OnlyFans was a place where you know, exchange numbers. That's what I want to know. Where did this guy get your number? That's the question that needs to be asked here. Explain that, please. Where did the number come from?
Some weird, and that's exactly what it was to me too. It was weird, and he offered me $5,000.
It was $500.
It was $5,000.
It was
I would not even.
$500.
It was $5,000.
It's interesting. He was gonna say I wouldn't even what? While he was saying it was $5,000, and Sophie was like, "No, it's 500," and I wouldn't even what? This is the thing though. If you know you have not done anything with said person, why does it matter how much you were offered? That doesn't make a difference. What you want people to you want people to know that you're worth more than $500? Well done. Good for you. But then you justifying or trying to prove that it was more than 500 makes it seem a bit sus. Well, no, it makes it 1000% seem become sus. Why does it matter? Why is it relevant? It's funny because in the end he realizes that he's doing too much, and then he goes, it's not relevant. Josh even said to him, listen, just don't talk about it, let it go. But Josh does not believe him. Josh knows. He's like, bro, you probably did do it. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, you know what? As your lawyer, as your attorney, just don't say anything moving forward. Okay, just shush. That's how Josh was talking to this guy. Drob. That's the one. Yeah.
The screenshot, go look at it.
Yeah,
It's $5,000.
that's how I know it's $500.
I know it's $5,000.
That's how I know it's
It was $5,000.
So a random gay man had my number. I don't know how he had my number, so I don't know what he was talking about. But just so you know, it was $5,000. It wasn't 500. So he's just letting you know, folks. If you want a little bit of Rob, it is $5K. Just so you know. He doesn't want you guys DMing you asking for the $500 service.
No, because I've never done it. I want to know where you're getting.
Okay, you know that.
I've never done prostitution. No, seriously.
I mean, the way Sophie walked away, man, seems like it could be legit. I guess we'll never know unless Sophie drops some receipts. I guess we'll never know. Yeah. Well, Either way though, whether he's gay for pay or whatever, it's not even that deep. It's only a conversation period because he's denying it. That's the only reason why it's a conversation. If he had admitted to it, given that it was true, then people would have been like, okay, good for you. Now what? Look at we don't live in the world anymore where you get judged for being gay or being lesbian or whatever the hell you want to do with your life these days. That's probably a lie, to be fair. People probably do judge behind closed doors. But people just don't judge as much in public anymore anyway, so it is what it is. But then again, some people judge you behind their keyboard. You never know. But either way, though, it's not that deep. If it's true, it's true. If it's not, it's not. I don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for me personally, I used to be like, the more gay men there are out there, the more women are available for me. So please, oh man, don't be gay, especially all the ones that take all the ladies. Go, do it, please. Come on, okay? Let me swim in the ocean. Oh, yeah. Anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.